Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and this is the one you guys have been asking for, so I hope you really enjoy it. We're going to be doing another Magic Warden build video. So this one, again, is another build I've been working on. It claps, people. It's using a set that used to be really overpowered, but got nerfed, but it's still a very solid set. So we're going to go over the skills, we're going to go over the gear, we're going to go over the alternate gear choices, we're going to go over mythics, and we're going to go over CP. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, and as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Liking the video is very, very important for me. Makes a huge difference to the channel, and if you watch it and enjoy it, please subscribe. So let's just get into it, and yeah. So we're going to start with the character screen. So what we have done here is we have put half our points into magic and half our points into health. We have plenty of stamina at 18k, so I'm not really worried about it. But I do have 27,000 magic, 33,000 health. This is before any of our buffs. Almost 1,600 recovery. Again, without our Betty and without our potion. And then the spell damage goes up to 3,000 completely unbuff. Again, we get our spell damage up multiple different ways in this build. Spell crit goes up to 24%, 6,350 penetration, again before our breach. And then our resistances are sitting at 28 and 25, and then 29 and 26. So the resistances are solid. We have plenty of resistances to survive. We have 36k health, which we get actually almost 40k health when we're all said and done. We get about 30k magic when it's said and done, and we get about 21,000 stamina. So let's get into the gear. Hope you enjoy my style. I'm rocking the all pink today. But before the gear, sorry, I want to let you know that I am a Breton. You could use Imperial, you could use Breton, you could use, I guess, Dark Elf if you wanted to, but I think Breton is always the way to go for a magic build. It's just really good. I don't know, it's just my favorite by far. So we're using Bewitched Sugar Skulls. If you really want to, you could use like a more magic base food. Like if you want to use Witch Mothers or one of the other foods that are magic and stamina, or I'm sorry, magic and health, you could, you know, go right ahead. It's up to you, but I like Bewitched. We're using the Atrodon Mundus for that extra recovery. And then we are using Vampirism, Stage 3. I do think it's very, very important to be a vampire, which is part of the reason we're a Briton, because it offsets that extra ability cost. But I do think being a Vampirism is kind of a necessity at this point. You have to, so yeah. Let's get into the gear. On the front bar, we are using the Master Ice Staff. I've tried Master Dual Wield, I've tried multiple different things, just nothing hits the same as the Master Ice Staff. The Master Ice Staff is incredible. It's so good. It's amazing on a Warden. It gives you pretty much an on-demand immobilize with Quench. It's just a great skill and a great weapon. So we are using a Frost Glyph because we get extra frost damage, and we applied that chilled, so that's nice. We got Sharpened. You could use Nirnhone. You could use, if you really want, you could use Infused. You could use Decisive even. It's very good for whatever you want to do. So that's what I'm doing on the front bar. And then on the back bar, we're using a Restoration Staff of Endurance, because when you flip to the back bar, you get 2,000 more health. That's huge because we are using Arctic Wind to get the heal, so this boosts Arctic Wind. We are using Powered for the 9% extra healing, and Berserk to get more spell damage. You can light attack with it and get it to proc, or, you know, get your heals buffed or your damage buffed. So yeah. So in terms of a monster set, there are 100% some different options you could use. Right now I'm using Zold the Ever Wakeful. I get stamina, which is okay, whatever. But when you break free, you relieve a wave around you of 8 meters. It fears everyone for 3 seconds. You gain 33 spell damage for every enemy up to 6 enemies. So you could essentially get 200 spell damage as the maximum. That's really nice. 200 spell damage for 7 seconds is solid, but it's more about the fear for me. I feel like when I get CC'd, it's either, you know, if I can't break out, or like if I break out and can't get away, it's over. So when I use this and break out, it kind of is like a get out of jail free card. I can run away and reset. It really helps me in BGs when I'm by myself playing. It's nice, it's good, but again, this is definitely not the best, probably. It's just what I liked right now. There's other options, so again, Balorg is always, always, always an option with Northern Storm. It procs off of Northern Storm, and it stacks with the spell damage you now get from Northern Storm, so it will hit really hard. Also really works well in conjunction with Dawnbreaker. So Balorg again is always an option, and you also get bonuses for using healing ultimates with Balorg. So again, Balorg is always, always going to be a solid option. You can also use Malabeth. Malabeth is another solid option that gives you a crap ton of healing. Very, very nice. Does a little bit of damage. Another option is Engine Guardian because they give pretty much insane sustain. You get crazy damage mitigation because when it procs, people hit that instead. So, very good. Almost like 100% uptime. And then the last monster set that people sleep on is Nunatak. It's an Imperial City set. It gives you one piece of an armor, which is pretty good. And then on dealing frost damage, you do AoE damage with frost and a 25% snare every second. So it's going to get up to 100% snare, and then they get immobilized. And then after that, they take 20% more crit damage, which is really, really nice on a Warden because you're using frost damage. So when you proc minor brittle, you get 10%. And then when you proc that major brittle, you get 20%. So boom, 30% extra crit damage. It's really nice. It has a 15-second cooldown. Realistically, it only has about a 7-second cooldown is the way I see it, because the snare is 4 seconds long, and then the major brittle is 4 seconds long. So, you know, it's about 8 seconds long, and then 7 seconds until it can proc again. This set is a sleeper set, if you ask me. I feel like it's very good low-key. People don't really think about it. They don't really think to use it, but it is a very good set. But I switch between, you know, Balorg, Engine Guardian, Nunatak, Zol, and Malabeth. Whatever I'm feeling. And then we're using One Piece Trainee. We are using, like, the majority of the time we're using heavy. If you can, heavy chest, heavy shoulders, heavy helm, heavy legs, and even heavy feet. And then I would go one medium, one light if you could. That's my ideal scenario. Getting the 3, and just to let you know, my max stats are even lower than they should be because I still don't even have the Undaunted thing leveled up. So I'll get 6% more max stats on top of that, which is crazy. So once I get that, it's over. It's over, I'm telling you. But yeah, that's how it is for now. So the 5-piece we're using is a Hrothgar. If you guys remember this set, it is a crazy, crazy set. It used to do insane amounts of damage. Everybody was using it on their builds until they cut it in half. But it still is a solid set. It's still really good on a Warden. I feel like it's a bit of a niche set at this point in the game because it's not amazing on any other class really besides Warden, because they get that 10% frost damage. They get the crazy immobilization chance with the Master Staff, and they get, you know, just that crazy frost damage. It's the only class in the game that can really, really, you know, capitalize on frost damage. So yeah. And another bonus, in my opinion, for our Hrothgar is that when I look for a build when I'm only going to use one 5-piece, which is this build, you're always going to look for something that's well-rounded, right? It gives you a mix of defense and offense at the same time. That's exactly what this set does. 2 pieces is max health, the 3 pieces armor, the 4 pieces penetration. There is literally no combination that's better for the balance of damage and sustain. That's really, really good. In terms of a single 5-piece, that's going to be this build. There's nothing that could really be better for me. Another good one is Ancient Dragon Guard. That's another good 5-piece. That's going to give a lot of bonuses. And another good set, if you don't have Hrothgar or Ancient Dragon Guard, is Heartland Conquer. Heartland Conquer is very, very good. It essentially gives you double the trait, so you get the double sharpen and you get the double powered on your staff. That's another sleeper set. Heartland Conquer is great. But anyways, the 5-piece for the 5-piece for Hrothgar is when you stun or immobilize an enemy. Just so you know, Clench immobilizes an enemy. Arctic Wind stuns an enemy. Nunatak will immobilize an enemy. Zol the Ever Wakeful will stun an enemy. You know, there's so many different sources you can do for a Warden to get that immobilization. So anyways, when you immobilize your enemy, you cause them to explode with frost damage, applying the chilled status effect, so you're going to get that status effect no matter what. And you deal 13% of their total physical and spell resistance as frost damage to themselves and all enemies within 8 meters. This effect can occur once every 7 seconds. So it also ignores physical and spell resistance. I'm sorry, just ignores spell resistance because that's what it is. But 13% is already crazy, because if somebody has 25k armor, it's gonna be doing almost 3300, and it ignores resistances, so it's gonna hit for what it tells you it's gonna hit for, unless they have straight damage mitigation. So it is gonna hit hard. It does a lot of damage in an AoE, so you can rack up, burst damage like crazy. Now this set might be real good with Dawnbreaker, just to let you know, because if you stun people with Dawnbreaker, this is going to proc with it. So it is a real good set for that. But I'm doing the other route using immobilizations. So, I mean, it's still solid. It's still solid. It's a real good set for me. It works. The burst feels crazy. The proc feels like it's constant. So, it's really good. In terms of traits and glyphs on the big pieces, I would go prismatic if you can. Get into triglyph, that would be really nice. They're very expensive. They're like 70k a piece. I know I wouldn't get it if I was you. I would just go magic and health. Mix a mixture of magic and health if you can. If you need to put a few points into stamina for your attributes, I wouldn't be opposed. You want to get well fitted, reinforce, and impen on all your armor if you can. Reinforce on the big pieces, and then impen or well fitted on the smaller pieces is usually my go-to. So the jewelry, we're actually using 2 pieces of trainee, because we're only using a 5-piece, so we get 2 extra pieces. So getting 1400 magic and 1400 health really makes a difference for me. We have infused, bloodthirsty, and healthy. I would change this to infused if you could, just letting you know. We are using 2 magic recovery and 1 spell damage. I'm more concerned about the sustain on a Magden than I am about spell damage. So, yeah. Like I said, we are using a mythic. Death Dealer's Feet. This one's crazy on a Warden. Warden really capitalizes on having maximum stats. So this is insane for a Magic Warden. You get so much max stats. You hit so much harder. Your Arctic Wind's going to be incredible. You get so much stamina to roll, break out, etc. You get a lot of magic to just stack on the pressure. Like, you get so many max stats. By the time you're done, you end up with 30k magic, 41k health, 21k stamina. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. It's such a good set. It's real good for hybrid builds as well, if you want to go hybrid. So, it's probably my favorite mythic that I've ever used. It's incredible. I love it. I could not recommend it enough. A backup option is Ring of Majesty. Ring of Majesty is another great set, just to let you know. So, yeah, that's what I'm using. Death Dealer's Feet. If you don't have a mythic, you are very welcome to run 2 5-pieces. I mean, I'm pretty sure if the math works out correctly, you can run 5 on the body and then 1 5-piece on the back bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11, 12. So you realistically could run a monster set and then a back bar too. So just so you know, the monster set and then a back bar with the jewelry. Just so you know. But I would highly recommend using Death Dealers over something else. So for the skills on the front bar, we're using Blue Betty. This one gives you crazy recovery, gives you brutality and sorcery, and then you get a cleanse out of it. We're using it on the front bar because you get 2% extra health for each animal companion ability. We are using Deep Fissure. This skill is a bread and butter. You have to have it. It does a crazy amount of damage. It does minor and major breach, which is why I said you get that 6,300 penetration, and then you, on top of it, you get another, what, 9k almost. Shoo, crazy. We are using Bird of Prey. I don't really use this skill that much unless I'm running and chasing someone, but I get the major berserk, and then I get 2% more damage for animal companion ability, so it's very good. We are using Frost Clench, like I said. Something to note that Frost Clench doesn't do a crazy amount of damage, but it does enough damage that it's still viable. It's very cheap anyways because of the Master Staff, and you get the chilled status effect, and you reduce their damage done by 10%, which is insane. And then you also proc Hrothgar, so this skill is like action-packed when you're fighting. It's a real good skill. And then we are using Blood for Blood. Now this skill is insane. When you have somebody else low health or you're low health, this thing hits like a freaking truck. I've hit people for like 12k non-crit. Like, it doesn't even make sense. It literally doesn't make sense. It's such a good skill. Arterial Burst is good too, but I like this one because I feel like it really helps my sustain in terms of my magic, because I'm not spending a bunch of magic every second on my spammable. The health really doesn't matter. I don't notice it. So this skill hits hard. It's a real good skill. If you don't want to run this, you are welcome to run either a dive, like Screaming Cliff Razor. You could use Force Pulse. You could even run Frost Clench as your spammable, and then use Swarm, Fetcher Infection, right? Fetcher Infection as a dot. But that is up to you. That is completely up to you. And then lastly, we are using Northern Storm. This skill is crazy. Less rate seconds. It's 100, or well, it's actually 200, but with Vamp, you 216. Does the area around you, 10 meters, which is huge. Then it reduces movement speed by 40%, which is also insane. You also get 300 spell damage and weapon damage for 30 seconds, guys. I want you to know that I essentially have this up 100% of the time. I pretty much have the 300 spell damage always because we have Major Heroism. You also get Major Protection. So the ult itself isn't the best part of it. It's the 300 spell damage because we essentially have that up all the time because of our back bar. So we are using Ice Fortress. A must. You have to use it. Minor Protection. 6,000 armor. Gotta have it. We are using Arctic Blast. This one will heal for a crap ton when you're totally buffed up. It does well over 10k when you're totally buffed because you get 9%, and then you also get a bunch of max stats from Death Dealer's Feet. It also stuns, and it does some damage as well. Great skill in my opinion. We're using Rapid Regen. Rapid Regen is the one I use in a team, like BGs or Small Scale, Imperial City, etc. You could use Rapid Regen if you want. If you really don't want to use that, you could also use Vines. It's another good skill. The Minor Lifesteal is pretty clutch, and then you get 2% healing for having it slotted. So that's not too shabby. Then you are also using Green Lotus for your crit bonus here. So we end up getting up to like 24% crit, which is okay. It's not bad. You get 1700 health for each light attack, and you get 5% for a heavy attack. So when you switch to your Resto and you heavy attack, you're healing yourself for 5k and 2 other allies. Like, it's insane. It's a really good skill. I've hit for like 7k sometimes the heal. Like, the heal is pretty solid, so don't sleep on it. It's very, very good. And then on top of it, it stacks with a Resto passive. When you heal yourself or an ally within 15 meters of the target for 57% of the inflicted damage on the final hit of a heavy attack. That literally procs at the same time as the Green Lotus. So you're getting 57% of the last tick of the heavy attack, and you're getting the 5k from this. So them two go together, and it gives a very, very beefy heal. Very good skill. It's very cheap as well, and it lasts for 20 seconds. Lastly, this is the king of the build right here. Shimmering Shield is God mode. This kills Sorks, even though Sorks have too many projectiles, so it's very hard to stop. But Shimmering Shield kills Nightblades. It hurts Sorks a lot, and it really makes a difference on a lot of DKs when they use Flames of Oblivion or a freaking Destruction Staff. So it make, Destruction Staff, bow, etc. Like, very good for them. You get a bunch of magic back, so you get pretty much all the cost of the skill. It's gonna always almost end up being free, and you get Major Heroism. Major Heroism, if you don't know, gives you 3 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. So every 3 seconds. So basically, you're getting 2 ult a second. That's insane. Okay, 2 ult a second. When you get up to your Northern Storm, you're gonna get that 300 spell damage. And by the time the 300 spell damage expires, you have another Northern Storm. I was using Crystal Slab, the other morph, for the stun and the damage, but the damage was minuscule, it was pretty crap. The stun was alright, but it wasn't controllable. So like, it was nice to stun like a snipe spammer or a Sork for a second, but at the end of the day, it's not going to make that much of a difference. So I feel like Shimmering Shield was huge for me. It pumped my damage up so much because I was using my ults way more frequently than I realized when I use this skill and when I don't. And every time I take Shimmering Shield off, I struggle very, very bad as a Warden. I feel like it's a must-have. It's a great, great, great skill. It literally carries the build in my opinion. Major Heroism is clutch. Now I was gonna test another skill. Or another set. I can't remember what the set is called, but it gives you 7 ultimate every 5 seconds. But Witchman? Nah, can't be. But anyways, that is the skills. And lastly for the ult, we're using Life Giver. Gives you a bunch of healing, gives you rapid regen at the same time. It's pretty much God mode for 5 seconds. If you really want to, you could use Secluded Grove, but I'm going to give you a big tip. Don't freaking use this skill. It is not good. It does not heal for enough. So, that's how I feel about it. And that is the skills I am using, everybody. Just a tip, if you do not want to use rapid regen, you could throw in Healing Seed, Vines. Healing Seed's very good, but that is what I'm using. We are going to go to the CP really quick, and then we are out of here. So we're using Fighting Finesse, crit damage, Master Red Arms, direct damage, Fighting Aura, AoE, and then Cutting Defense is basically you would return damage towards people when they hit you. It's pretty slept on. I like it a lot, so very good. And then for the red tree, we are using Relentlessness, Major Protection after breaking free, reduces damage when you have for every 2 negative effects. Very good one. Everyone puts dots on you and negative effects. And when you have a negative effect on you, which is essentially always, you get 150 of all recovery. Very good. And when you are under CC immunity, you get recovery, which is pretty much always. So you're getting a lot of recovery. So yeah, that's the CP. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be posting some gameplay as well. Have a good one, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed the build. It's a very fun build. I'm going to keep testing. Keep playing some Magden. I love Magden, you guys know. I think the last like 4 of my videos have been Magden. So have a good one, guys. Enjoy, and I will be posting gameplay. See you later.